This video briefly covers the codes that govern stucco and will help you identify various stucco systems. As a home inspector, you should be aware of the codes, industry standards, practices, and able to identify various stucco systems. This video will help you identify, reference, and write a fair evaluation on the stucco cladding for a single-family home. The first thing to understand is how the building code relates to stucco or stucco-like systems. It all starts with the International Building Code and the International Residential Code. These codes are national, and the IRC is meant for single-family homes and duplexes. Each state will then adopt these codes and make slight alterations or edits specific to their state. Some major cities will then further modify the code to fit their city, but most of the codes are pretty similar. Many people misunderstand the code and believe it is an absolute minimum and equally inflexible. This is not entirely true. We can read within the code that there are provisions of the code that apply to construction. Chapter 1 is very clear. The provisions of the code are not intended to prevent alternates to the code, but who decides what's acceptable as an alternate? That is the local building official. They determine what is code compliant or not. This is important to remember, as you will likely find items that are not per ASTM or specifically listed in the code, but may still be code compliant. Stucco is in the building code and references ASTM standards. This is what we call generic stucco. It will either be a 2-coat system for masonry walls or a 3-coat system for framed walls. Proprietary stuccos are approved per the alternate section of the code and therefore are also code compliant. They most often will have an evaluation report sent to the building department for review and approve the system as a code alternate. The 1-coat systems on rigid foam are good examples of such code-approved alternates. Stucco applications and practices can be very regional. For example, in Florida, stucco is most often applied to concrete or masonry walls, while out west, 3-coat or even 1-coat stucco over framed walls is much more popular. There are 2 basic types of finish coats, cement or synthetic, which we call an acrylic finish. Both finishes can be applied to either masonry or framed walls, and even a wider variety of stucco base coat systems. It will be impossible for you to identify with 100% accuracy the system you're inspecting by simply looking at it. There are 2 systems you will most likely encounter: exterior insulated finish systems, or EIFS, or hardcoat stucco. Since they look exactly the same, it can be confusing. There is a simple test that can help you identify the system. Can you hear the difference between stucco and EIFS? Because foam can also be used as decorative shapes around windows, they can be confused for EIFS. They are not EIFS. Your sound test is best done in the field of the wall for more accurate results. We also ask that you should refer to the Weep Screed video to learn more. In general, you will be most concerned about how the stucco manages water. There are 2 basic methods. The barrier or sealed method. This method keeps water out of the face and is preferred for masonry walls. The concealed barrier method anticipates incidental water will get past the cement membrane and at some point must be collected and weeped out. This is the SMA preferred method for framed walls, as they are more sensitive to water intrusion. This brief presentation on codes and stucco systems is brought to you by the SMA members and these regional stucco groups. Please review other SMA videos to learn more.